So I'm probably not going to like do question 7 to its gory conclusion, but we want to find a closed interval between 0 and 2 to show that there's a solution to this function right here. It's actually the golden ratio is what this solution is going to be. If you're like unsure, just look at the golden ratio. So here's the idea, right? So if we're using Bolzano's theorem, first thing we have to do is say that our function's continuous, right? This is continuous for all real numbers, so it's definitely continuous on whatever interval I choose for a and b. So f of x is x squared minus x minus 1. So my a and b's have to be between 0 and 2. So what I want to do, right, so here's kind of like the idea. So here's 2, here's 0. So I'm going to just pick some number and see what I get. So I'm going to say, let's maybe do x is equal to 1. So f of 1 is going to give me 1 squared minus 1 minus 1. So that's going to be negative 1. Right, so I found at at 1, I have a negative y value. Cool. So then my goal is, can I find some positive value? So I know a little bit about this function. I'm going to cheat a little bit. So if you're unsure, one thing that you could kind of note is that, well, it has a y-intercept of negative 1. So there's some y-intercept down there. So it's probably well, not probably, it has to go like that, right? Because it's a positive value of a. So I'm going to choose some value between now 1 and 2 as my second point. So I'm going to choose f of, say, 3 over 2. So 1.5. All right, so 3 over 2 squared is 9 over 4. I'm going to take away 3 over 2. I'm going to take away another 1. Right, so this is going to be, let's see, so 6 over 4 minus 4 over 4. So this is also going to be negative. Right, so it might seem like, oh no, I didn't find a positive value. But actually what I did was I said I found a better negative value to use. So now I know that my solution lies somewhere in this interval from 3 over 2 to 2, somewhere between 1.5 to 2. All right, so what's between 1.5 and 2? Well, I'm going to go with, say, f of, so what? Of, I don't know why I just lost the ability to do math real quick. So this would be 4 over 2. That's 3 over 2. So let's go 7 over. Wow, that was very, very hard for me. So um let's go with 1.75. Why was that so hard for me? 7 over 4, man. I need to drink some coffee. So if we square 7 over 4, we're going to get 49 over 16. We're going to take away 7 over 4. So I'm going to write this in 16s. That's going to be minus 28 over 16. And then minus 1. So that's going to be like 16 over 16. All right, so 49 minus 28 minus 16. That's going to be 5/16, which is positive. Right, so I know that somewhere between this interval, right, 7 over 4, I'm going to get a positive number, so I don't have to worry about these values. So I know now that I have a solution between 3 over 2 and 7 over 4. So then I could say, well, let me choose some value in between those, right? So this is 6 over 4 and 7 over 4. So if I were to average those things out, I would get, 13 over 8. So 13 over 8 would be a good next value to choose. Right, so if I square 13 over 8, I'm going to get 169 over 64 minus 13 over 8. So I'm going to write that as a fraction. So 8 times 13 is 104. And oops, 64 minus 64 over 64. Nice, right? So this is going to be 68. So this is going to be 1 over 64, which is a positive number. So I know that at 7, at the average of these points, I'm going to get a positive number, right? So this was 7, what is this? 7, 8, 7, 13 over 8. So I can get rid of that interval, right? And I can keep doing this, right? Every time I find a positive number, I'm kind of creeping in to our solution from this right side. If I find a negative number, well, I'm creeping in from the right side. And we can keep doing this and doing this and doing this until I get something that's less than, what do I have? 1,000th wide. So right now, 13 over 8 minus 3 over 2, which is 8, right? So 5/8. So right now, this interval is 0.625 wide. So I'm not even in the ballpark where I want to be, right? But that's kind of like the plan. I'm not going to keep doing fractions and so on. So here's if you're unsure and you just couldn't sleep at night, x squared minus x minus 1. That's there's a solution about 1.61803. All right, right, and notice that that's between, again, 13 over 8. And also, what do we have before that? Like 7 over 4 or something? 3 over 2. 1.5, right? So we're kind of creeping in more and more and more and more and more, right? We're a little bit over it and so on. That's kind of the plan of this question.